So, Merfolk, this one's up on the website. I think this deck is fairly reasonable overall in the format. It's got good, powerful, linear draws, and it also has just a scotch of interaction for when you want to be interactive. One change I've made since the last time that we've played, I've moved all 4 copies of Mistcaller into the main deck. The good decks in this format are Jeskai Creativity, Collected Company creature decks, and this covers both of those. You can sacrifice this in response to a creativity. Their things don't come into play, so they just can't combo while this is out. Their opponents can't cast Collected Company while this is out. So just good disruption. That's also a 1-drop that powers things up well. We got Sea and Sky in Jumpstart. If you haven't seen this card before, big reason why Merfolk is playable now. 3/4 for 3 that draws cards, makes sure the Merfolk harder to kill, and then gets indestructible if you have a big wide board. Another thing that's really sweet in this deck, chat, do you hate missing with Collected Company? Me too. This deck has 40 Collected Company hits game 1. We're only playing 16 lands, because Glasspool Mimic is a land, and Shoreline Scout can turn Merfolks into land. So if you want to play a company deck, and you want companies that hit consistently, this is definitely the deck for you. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this, and see if we can make some people swim with the fishes today. Kopala versus Kira. Yeah, Kopala's a Merfolk, so I'd rather play that. Are any good 2-player games? Dice Throne is a really good 2-player game, and Sagrada plays really well 2 players. So Dice Throne is like a Yahtzee Magic mashup, and Sagrada is a dice drafting game that's very fun. Fishies! Thanks for the half a year, ours. So, I think we actually mulligan the triple Mistcaller against Wellspring. This is probably food or Niv, and in either case, these are pretty bad here. This is fine. We'll bottom the Kumena speaker. I would, if you don't have pathways, I would recommend, if you don't have pathways for this deck, one, they're a good investment, but in the meantime, I would probably play 2 Hinterland Harbors and then 2 more basics. I do not think I would play 4 Hinterland Harbors, like one or 2 at most. So I think we just upgrade this Barkchannel Pathway into a tropical island. I think I want all my threats here. Yeah, opponent. Cooking our fish here is a little sedge. Traditionally speaking, the opponent's archetype is very good against decks that play creatures. And they're playing Claim the Firstborn in the main deck, which makes the matchup extra challenging. So yeah, opponent's deck's one of the many archetypes that's very polarizing in Historic. Well, you don't always have Shoreline Scout. Is the thing. We have another Bone Crusher Giant? Alright, I'm just gonna concede this match. I don't really feel like playing my creature deck into food. I don't really care about my rank. So, I'm just gonna skip my polarized matchups that aren't fun. So, I'm just gonna time out the Twitch chat tick. Jeff! When they had Gilded Goose, our flying creature was bad. That's very astute of you. The flying creature is useful as a blocker in spots, in addition to being able to sacrifice it to draw a card later. So I think I disagree that the unblockable Merfolk is better. It actually wouldn't have made a difference in that game. We were still losing by a lot. And there's going to be other situations where the flying creature is meaningful. Do we just queue into the same fucking person again? Is this the same person we just played? It is, right? Like, the application's just not even playable. Like, it's so bad. Like, I just want to fucking play games that don't suck. And, like, it's just like... it's been broken for over 2 weeks. It's been broken for 2 fucking weeks. How do you break matchmaking across every queue in your game and leave it broken for 2 weeks? I'll wait 30 seconds and see if we can queue into something else. I mean, chat, for people suggesting other queues, it's literally every queue in the client. Our cube draft was made worse that we paid for because we played the same person 2 out of 3 matches in our 3-match cube draft. I mean, we're not playing Brawl not only because you queue into the same people endlessly, but they also broke deck strength matchmaking in Brawl. Everything queues into Golos and Braille in Brawl right now. I think we're... Mistcaller's probably not very good against Turn 1 Esper Sentinel, right? I don't have any Lords lined up. I'm just gonna turn these off. Last night, I played the same Golos player 3 times in a row, and then I decided I'm just not playing Arena until they fix it. Yeah. Yeah, it's really bad. I'm gonna trade these here, because I don't want them to draw a card when I cast this Collected Company. This is optional, right? Yeah. Well, I guess we can just upgrade this island, right? Might as well. It's a free roll, strictly better, all that jazz. So the 26 months me stun. Welcome back. Thanks for the 22 months, Sandus. Sorry, I'm gonna try and not be frustrated by Arena. It's just, it's tough. I apologize for the complaining. Indestructible sounds nice this time of year. And then our Mimic here will get to copy Mistbinder next turn. That's a pretty good one. Why would you wish this upon me, Draken? What did my merfolk ever do to you? I don't think I want to trade this. Interesting that they binned that and kept the general. I guess if the general traded, this would only be a 2/2, so I guess that makes sense. And honestly, like, again, I'm pretty reasonable when it comes to, like, my expectations around software. So I don't expect them to, like, fix things instantly, but the fact that they haven't, like Magic Arena has a known issues page, right? Does it have a known issues page? Like, just like a simple communication that, like, we know that this is a problem and we're working on it and this is the timeline or whatever. I'm from Central Illinois, actually. I'm like smack dab in the middle of the state. The Bloomington normal area. Gonna bring in our interaction. Yeah, they could communicate at least that, like, it's a thing they're aware of and they're working on it. At a minimum. Thanks for the follow, Foam Drinker. Good morning. This is usually my go-to trim. Mistcaller doesn't seem very good against mono white, so we'll get rid of that. So for people that haven't played with it before, Silvergill Adept is low-key your best card in matchups like this, where you're going to be trading resources off frequently. Just having a card that trades with one of their things but also draws you a card is super strong. Get that one for 0 value. I don't know what Shoreline Scout is doing yet. We'll see. I think I'm just playing Sea and Sky here. Ideally, we'll just do this, and then we'll draw an untapped land next turn and get to go Lord. All right, so with this draw, I think I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of Silvergill here. Then we'll attack with these and we'll play Sea and Sky. And then next turn we can do this, or like Lord plus a bounce. Oh, interesting, they're trading. I think that's good for us. They don't have second dire tactics. We're in a pretty good. Oh, fuck! It's indestructible. Mistakes were made. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'm supposed to bounce this to let this die. Yeah, I'm probably just supposed to bounce this so it dies. The matchup Miscast is for the ones with sorcery speed sweepers. It's 1 mana, counter target Anger of the Gods. It counters Anger, it counters... counters Wrath of God, counters Indomitable Creativity. Okay, so now I'm gonna do what I could have done last turn, but I think this is fine. So we'll pass, they'll go to activate this, and then in response to this activation, we'll bounce the General's Enforcer, which does let them draw a card, but it means the Miscast is gonna die here, because it'll no longer be indestructible and it'll have damage marked on it. Listen, chat, sometimes they want it more than you, okay? You gotta be okay with that. So we'll do this. We'll make a tropical island. We'll have Brazen Borrower to play out. And we're actually in a pretty okay spot here, right? We're not dead. We're not dead on board. We've got this going. We've got okay trades inside of combat here. So, I need to hit some gas here, but like a good collecting company gets us back in this game. We've got 2 draws a turn. Any Merfolk, please. Okie doke. They're gonna get to draw a card with this Persentinel, but forgot to play my 1-drop. Oops. Are we about to get Witch's Vengeance? I think we're about to get Witch's Vengeance. They just like have a second Vengeance in hand and we're dead. Do I just copy Sea and Sky here so I don't die to Vengeance? I think that's the play, right? Yeah, they're legendary, but I just keep the untapped one. We got a little lucky to draw the Coco, but like, man, that company was bad. Bad company. It's all I ever cast. Bad, bad company. Soon you'll get to experience your Delver Never flipping in a whole new format. It's funny because it's sad. Alright, well, they don't have the other Witch's Vengeance, so that's nice. Dragon Rage Chandler at least helps Delver flip. BC Toy, thanks for the half a year. Welcome back. Yeah, remember Brainstorm's still suspended. I think it might be okay to bring Brainstorm back into the format at some point. Only suspended. Please chop down my Kumena speaker. Please chop down my Kumena speaker. This game would be less close if I hadn't thrown away a Silvergill Adept earlier. Well, I guess I would have just gotten swept away by Witch's Vengeance, right? Red Rover, let the humans come over. Rats. Have your card. Do I want another Lord, or do I want a cantrip? This is going to be another Lord as is. I think I kind of want to draw a card, so I could take this Glasspool to copy the Silvergill. Yes. Yes. Yeah, this is probably lethal, right? So I get to do this, tap a thing, this, tap two things, smash. It's gotta be lethal, right? This doesn't tap things, so I can't. So if I want to play this, I don't get to tap two blockers here. And then we tap this, and then they're forced to block with everything. Yeah, this is the Merfolk, the Glasspool isn't a Merfolk until it enters play. How's the cube draft? The cube draft itself was good. It was a little bit sad that arena matchmaking put us into the same person twice. So the first 2 matches were a lot of fun. The third match was a repeat, which was a little medium. Thanks for the tier 2 though, Red Link. I appreciate the 32 months. Don't hit play so fast. Yes, that is definitely the problem. Chat, what if they also wait to queue a bit? Had we played it first, copying Reejerey, then we could have cast the Reejerey from our hand, untapping 2 lands. And then play the last one too. Yeah, that still only taps 2 things at the end though, right? No, wait, because we would have had Reejerey and then another. Yeah, maybe you're right. I think you're right. Because we would have had 3 in play when we finally cast the second one, right? Did you ever consider that you might be the only 2 people logged into Arena the entire time? I did not. It's a big brain thought, though. I think I'm okay trading Mistbinder for both their Pokemon, so... Read. Ah, the tap land. Sage. I think I play this to attack here. Now the question is, do I want to robber this turn, or do I want to save it to reveal to this? I think I just want to cast this, keep the pressure on. We'll either draw a Merfolk or a land next turn, right? Hey, Daubert, thanks for the 36 months. Welcome back. What's going on, Entropy Engine? Thanks for the 5 months. First strike. First strike's a heck of a keyword, chat. Svyelun! Think we're just passing into a potential resto here. I'm just gonna let this happen. I'm gonna save the Mistcaller to counter an Ephemerate. The only chump pog. Thanks for the follow. So this gets to start piling in next turn. Really good at breaking board stalls, drawing us extra cards, so let us get further ahead. They don't really have good attacks now either. Let's continue pumping up the jam. Just draws cards when it attack. It attack, it block, it draw cards. Just does everything, chat. It does protect, doesn't it? It attack, it protect, it draw cards. It protect, it attack, it draw when it smack. There we go. There we go. There's the... Now we're memeing. Okay, so... If I attack with everything, it's important to remember that these have first strike, so they would first strike down my lords, meaning everything else would get smaller. So attacking all here is almost assuredly wrong. We'll just keep attacking with this one. Just keep swinging, swinging, swinging. Just keep swinging. Doot, doot, doot. I will not cast non-creature spells this turn. You got me. Micaeus actually seems like a sweet card to fish up with Ranger Captain. You do remember that this one's like lets you search up something that's like really expensive, right? How close are we to sacking Windrobber? That's a good question. So a little bit off. Oh, they're a Lieutenant deck. That's interesting. Lordy, lordy. All right, so now we can smack them. Pretty sure this is lethal. This gives everything else a 1/1 counter. So these become 4s with first strike, so they still can't first strike down these. This attack might be wrong, but also fuck it. So they can first strike down one of the lords. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8. Oh, sorry. I have 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I missed these over here, chat, because I just assumed Magic Arena would group all of my attackers together, not conveniently collected company things onto either side of them here. Are you dead yet? You think they're dead? Thankfully, it's not our job to figure it out. Oh, we did a cube first thing this morning, Seth. We drafted green-red Splash Restoration Angel to stay on theme. Slash in character. Yeah, if they're not dead this turn, they're almost assuredly gonna not have good blocks the next turn, right? Primal Might actually be kind of mediocre here, because they probably have Ephemerate in addition to the Restoration Angels as a sorcery speed. But I got the Mistcaller still. We'll bring in 3 Brazen Borrowers and Primal Might for just a scotch of interaction. Okay. 1-drop, Lord, piece of interaction, 3 lands. Relatively balanced and reasonable hand, all things considered. I think Trickster's fine. I think it offers you a little bit of utility like you pointed out there. I think if you want to play Trickster, I wouldn't tell you you're wrong, but I also like Deeproot Elite. Stacking counters on a large indestructible thing is great. So, Restoration Angel's Blink is a May. So if you like sack Mistcaller, they just click no on Resto. It does technically stop an Ephemerate. We also didn't see Ephemerate out of them. If we see Ephemerate this game, I'll reconsider my Mistcallers if there's a game 3, I think. No blocks. Go to 15. Alright, well they didn't have a piece of 2-mana instant speed removal to punish this year. That would have been awkward. These are my 3/3s. There are many like them, but these ones are mine. Rude. My favorite Restoration Angel deck. If you made me pick, I think I'd say red-white mid-range, but the cold, blunt truth is even that's not very good. I think this opponent's archetype is okay, mono-white mid-range, but I think it's also just, like, worse than playing humans. A more lower-to-the-ground build. I don't think the current historic format is very hospitable to the types of decks that Restoration Angel wants to be put inside of. It's my favorite deck I've ever played. Innistrad, RTR, Temur Flash, followed closely by Scars of Mirrodin, Original Innistrad, Sultai Control. Yeah, we are going to get them inside of combat here at some point. Hopefully. Yeah, Historic has experienced a very large power level spike. If you haven't played, had the Mystical Archives been released last time you played Erictron? If they hadn't, that doesn't surprise me that you're having a hard time. No, yeah, they're real brutal. I don't have any control over Twitch. We've now drawn half the lands in the deck. We have almost drawn half the lands in the deck. This deck plays 16 lands. So this will enter as this. We'll put a counter on here. Oh, you know what? I should have put the other 2 counters on this one, right? To encourage them to portable hold this afterwards. Yeah, because this still would have been a 4-4, right? As a missequence on my part here. For sure. It's fine. We can correct it here with this. Now just give me another castable Merfolk this turn. Give me a Lord. It's like a Lord if you squint at it, but the problem is they get to recast these portable holes this turn. Alright. This is a Silvergill Adept. Nah, I ended up falling off of Marvel Strike Force, Eric. It just didn't, the character building in it just didn't have the depth that Raid Shadow Legends does. So it just didn't really hold my attention. Are we at Coco or bust time? Maybe? Yeah, I would have attacked with more than just this. I was pretty happy when they only attacked with the 5. Well, I mean... let's get this one up to 6 so we can threaten to block the Ranger Captain. So they can double diddle here with the Giant Killers. They just attack with everything. I mean, they told us there wouldn't be bans for historic. Anybody that was expecting historic bans was not paying attention. Maybe I do want this extra Primal Might. It doesn't seem like they have Ephemerate. Although, that game was a good showing of why Deeproot Elite's kind of guess. Was very, very good there for us. Am I trimming it? I might be trimming it still. That was it. I've been playing a little bit of Pokemon Go still. Pokemon Unite's been dominating most of my off-stream gaming time. In large part because Christy and I have been playing it together, so it's something that we can do to spend time together. I haven't really dug into the spoiler yet. So we get the full spoiler on Friday. So Friday on stream, we'll be doing a set review. If they offer a trade next turn, I'm going to take it. Remember, it's a good trade for us because Silvergill Adept drew a card. Would really like to draw land. lose Primal Might here, I assume. I guess I could take one of our 3-drops if they want to make it hard for us to cast them. If we draw untapped land next turn and get to play Merrow Reejerey, our following turn would be very silly, so maybe they want to take that away. What they take here probably depends on the texture of their hand. Yeah, unfortunately, I think we're just dead here. I guess I could do this. Yeah, taking a Reejerey here is very smart. Because Mana Screw and Mana Flood are a fundamental part of Magic the Gathering as a game. I've played an incredible number of card games in my life at this point, and Magic the Gathering is the highest variance of them all. There's a lot of people that like to act like Magic's this very complex intellectual game, but like the cold hard truth is that a majority of your games are going to end with one player not playing a meaningful game. Either due to being flooded or being screwed. I think that matchup's actually quite good for us. You know, we drew 7 out of our 16 lands in the first game, and then that game, you know, obviously it was turn 5 there, or 4 or whatever, and we still didn't have a 3rd land. That's just how it goes. Which is, again, one of the reasons why, you know, when people complain about the cards that involve rolling dice, it's like, well, you see, these really aren't that big of a deal. Hey, Kurz. Thanks for the 10 sub gifts. That's very generous of you. Good morning, good morning. All right. So, we're definitely keeping... Oh, stop it. I wanted to rearrange the cards in my hand. Can I not do that? Oh, I can, kind of. Okay. So, we're definitely keeping these 4. And the question is, which of these do we get rid of? I think it's Master of the Pearl Trident. I think. Could be wrong keeping this because I don't currently have a green source. So, what's the best way to put it? I think the idea... Let me rephrase. Rolling a d20 and all of the cards that involve rolling d20s are lower variance than Silvergill Adept, which says draw a card on it. Drawing a card from your deck is incredibly high variance, and it's something that we just accept as part of the game, and you're conditioned against it to be like, oh, it's not a big deal. So humans are very bad at intuiting variance, and it's so weird to me how people will be like, oh, rolling a die is very in your face variance, where this is more subtle, right? Like, this doesn't say the word random on it, so it's not like, oh, this is obviously super random. Like, this card has an inherently random effect on it, just on the basis of how the game works. If a card doesn't explicitly say random on it, people a lot of the time are like, well, you know. Yeah, I think like what you're saying there is super subjective. Yeah, so dice rolling cards don't have the word random on them, but it's easy to intuit as for someone who's not mathematically inclined to understand that rolling a dice is random. Whereas a lot of other variance-powered mechanics like that, it's harder to intuit that. Like this game, right? Like, we lost because we were on the draw, effectively. Like, that's a variance element. That was very much part of the game there. Like, the arguments basically come down to, but Jeff, it's not the good type of variance that I like. And that's fine, but like, don't describe it as a lot of people, what a lot of people say is, I don't like these cards because they have variance. And what they mean is the variance in this card is different than I'm used to, so I don't like it. And I know that might sound pedantic, but I think it's important to communicate what you actually mean instead of complaining about things that are unrelated. But I'm just timing this, so this take is just wrong. The confusion in something of divination always draws exactly 2 cards. You know what it does when casting it, whereas die rolling, you don't know what the effect is going to be on cast. You don't know what 2 cards you're going to draw. So, like, you know that you're going to draw a range of cards that are in your deck, yes. But, like, with the die rolling cards, you also know what the range of outcomes is, right? And if you look at the average die roll magic card, the range of outcomes on it is actually super fucking small. The difference between rolling a 1 and rolling a 20 on almost every die roll card is super marginal. And in fact, the difference between those 2 things is smaller than drawing 2 spells or 2 lands. Like, the variance differential between drawing 2 lands when you don't need them or drawing 2 spells when you need lands is fucking huge. You want to talk about another, we could just sit here all day and do this, right? This is a variance card. It doesn't say random anywhere on it, but I just got savaged for being unlucky because I happened to draw 2 copies of this card, and this card gives me no player agency to play around it. I got 2 for 1 by this because I was unlucky. Another variance card that, like, there's so many of these designs in this game. They're the norm. I just think you're being annoying. Like, if the difference between rolling a 1 and rolling a 20 on these cards was very different on average, I would agree with the people that are complaining about them. But you're removing the context from what the die roll cards are and just pretending like they're all these incredible variance engines when really almost all of them provide similar effects. Like, go look at the average card that says roll a die on it and look at what the difference is when you roll a 1 and roll a 20. Yeah, the context is what I'm talking about. Like, people are arguing about rolling dice generically, and I'm talking about rolling dice in the context of the magic cards that we're talking about. Even Delina, the Wild Mage, isn't that big of a difference getting 1 versus getting 2. Delina synergizes with other cards to create a crazy combo. So that's definitely something that happens. Yeah, and that too, right? Like, Magic the Gathering had cards that flip coins over a decade ago. Like, rolling dice isn't new. And again, it really just comes down to... It really just comes down to feels. It's way more feels than reals. It feels worse because it's harder for people to lie to themselves about die rolls than it is to lie to themselves about other things else. People convince themselves that these other parts of the game don't have variance when they have incredible amounts of variance. We are going to be playing Naya Feather after this deck is done, so probably this match and then 1 or 2 more, and then we're going to play Naya Feather as the last deck today. I mean, it's not even fair to single, like, and for reference, for people that are new to the channel, by the way, for who the heck is this guy? And he's talking about teaching and learning things. I have a master's degree in mathematics. I've spent time teaching at the college and high school level, and minors in education while I was doing this. I've taught statistics classes, calculus, a whole range of topics that you expect for basic. I've taught basically every college, freshman and sophomore mathematics course at some point. And probability and statistics are something that a lot of people have a really hard time grasping in the abstract. It's not a unique to Magic players phenomenon by any means. I think I'm playing Reejerey next turn. Could also be right to lead on this. Has Merfolk been good? Yeah, this deck's been fine. I'm gonna go ahead and block here, keep them from playing Spawn of Mayhem. No, that's why I specified college freshman classes, because things like linear algebra weren't things I ever really got into in terms of teaching. I took that class, but wasn't something I actually taught. Choices. Do I want to play Merrow Reejerey, or do I want to play Master of the Pearl Trident, kill the Ebon Legion with the Primal Might? I think I just do this and let them have a turn with their stuff. Getting this down means I get to cast a bunch of stuff next turn. I get to bring back a 3-2 next turn. Thanks for the follow, Chiller Than Zero. Welcome to the channel. Clear on the no blocks here and get set up for next turn, hopefully. Excuse me? index is 0 here, right? Yeah, I don't know if there's anything we can do to beat that one. And again, like, just to continue highlighting forms of variance, this is matchup variance, right? Like, our opponent elected to put this card in their sideboard, which our creature deck is incredibly bad against. So now we're likely to lose this game and this match because of an element that was outside of our control. I'm gonna hope to draw a Brazen Borrower here. All right, we didn't do it. And another Legion send off the top, you know? Sometimes you just get 2-for-1 a bunch by your opponent's sideboard cards because of how your draw lined up. Yeah, it's just, you know. Legion's End's actually a card I've talked about a good bit, especially when that card was in Standard. I think the design on Legion's End is an abject failure. I think it's a really, really awful rancid design. The fact that just like you have no control over when their removal spell 2-for-1s you are not really sucks. Someone in the future league lost to Growth Chamber Guardian too many times. Was like, all right, we're gonna print a Growth Chamber Guardian hoser. When that card was like nowhere near oppressive at any point. You say it applies to Deckenstone as well? No, you can play around Deckenstone. No, chat, fuck, damn it. All right, I'm just timing people out because I don't understand. Stop it. Chat, Legion's End kills the card in your hand too. You can play around Bile Blight and Deckenstone by not playing out multiple copies of your card. Legion's End, you don't have that option. There's 0 counterplay. It's 100% variance. Legion's End is a bad design because it offers no counterplay other than don't be unlucky. Oh, you just use Brainstorm for counterplay. There's the big brain response. Yeah, I agree, Strange Journey. A lot of my issue with what people say about the die roll cards comes from the perspective of people approach the discussion from die roll cards bad because variance bad, when really that's just like not what they mean, right? I think this is a landless game. Like if you said, I don't care for the kind of variance on these die roll cards, I don't care for the way it feels, then I'm not gonna argue with your feelings. Your feelings are yours and they are what they are and you're entitled to them. If you're gonna show up and act like it's different than everything else, like it's not. That's the part I take issue with. Don't project your feelings into trying to make an argument that doesn't make sense. All right, land that doesn't hurt us is nice. Thanks for the biddies, Busted. Thanks for the 2 years, Jeff. Welcome back. It is definitely not too soon to donate for Werewolves in Standard. Any build arounds for standard, feel free to send them on over. I want any and all of them. What's going on, Gandalf? Thanks for the 20 months. You're not wrong, Strange Journey. These giant killers diddling our blockers is a little scary. Yeah, all arena deck submissions are just 50. They have another removal spell here? No, just giant killer. Being on the play is really good in the Agromir chat. I think I have to block this one, so that way, as much as I don't want them to draw a card when I cast Company, I think I need the 3/3 here. I currently have 0 deck submissions for New Standard. Hey, sounds good, Wargy. So do I want a Company, or do I want the guaranteed Silvergill plus Reejerey? Am I dead on board? I think I'm dead on board, right? So if I do this... Oh, they can't tap and Faceless Haven, so I'll have 4 blockers. I am dead on board, huh? Are there any hits off a Company that get me out of this? I don't think so. And I can't Reejerey into Silvergill Adept, untap, draw 1-drop. I believe we're just dead because of the Faceless Haven. We're close to stabilizing here, but they had a good curve on the play with their Skyclave Apparition. That's a lot of the times what these creature matchups come down to, is being on the play. Usually you gotta hope your opponent stumbles or misses a beat. Get their attack with creatures quest in. Very few decks play cards like, yeah, but I mean, like, you look at how that game played out, right? And, like, having a card like Snakeskin Veil wouldn't have done anything, right? Because they played on curve, I played on curve, and their removal spell happened when I was tapped out. So against other creature decks, holding up interaction for their removal is generally a losing line, because then when they don't have removal, they're just going to curve out harder than you because you've been holding up this trick. This hand's fine. We'll turn a breeding pool into a tropical island. And thing into thing into thing. That's a pretty good one. This is a good pickup too, though. If we don't draw a land next turn, maybe we're supposed to play this tapped. Yeah, probably with losing the Lord. Huh? So it's kind of punishing for playing the Trop instead of the island last turn, because now if I like draw another island, I can't play Kumena this turn. Okay, sweet. Not punished. Now, we don't really have good public data sources like that, Patrick. I'm sure Wizards has lots of internal data from Magic Online before and after. But the mulligan rules also, I'd also probably argue the mulligan rules didn't really help play versus draw. They just like made variance lower for everybody. Which maybe you could argue that if variance is lower than for everybody, that the new mulligan rule makes it more advantageous to be on the play. It's probably the case. Because usually when you're winning games against people who are on the draw, usually when you're winning games on the draw, it involves them stumbling or something, and with less stumbling and variance. Like here, right? Like, I was on the play, good beats. There are no breaks on the Merfolk train, chat. Going on, drinking? Thanks for the third of year. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. Gas it up. All right, let's see if we can sneak one out on the drum. Fingers crossed. You know, someone else mentioned there was an issue with looking at past broadcasts. So you're not the only one having a problem. Not that it helps you, but you are not alone. Hey, Ben. Thanks for the 13 months. Welcome back. All right, you have the Skyclave Apparition on 3 to match your perfect curve. Dahlia's Lieutenant would also be pretty good, but I think Skyclave's worse for us. The fact that Skyclave builds their board while simultaneously hurting ours is rough. Okay. So they don't have great attacks here. They take our Lord or our Brazen Borrower is the question. Borrower it is. No blocks here, go to 17. Hey, chat. We have 3 threes. Defense. Defense. Yeah, untap does not do well with the conjured cards at the moment. What are some ways being on the draw can be better than how it is now? There's like, if I round down, there are approximately 1,000 ways they can make being on the draw less detrimental. They clearly don't have any interest in changing it though, because they're not trying any of them. Alright, so with the aspirant here, I'm definitely willing to just trade for this 3-2. It's a nice pickup. Yes, the most boring of which is copying Hearthstone and giving a treasure token. I'm gonna start attacking. They're holding up, man. I think they're holding up cracking this clue. They can also be giant killering my Sea and Sky. Opponent is now clueless. Nah, I don't think so, Patrick. I think that's a great solution, actually. As is often the case with game design stuff, I think it's incredibly difficult to figure out the perfect answer, but what isn't incredibly difficult is trying stuff out. So I will never be upset that, you know, things aren't perfect, but what will rightfully annoy me is when they refuse to try. I don't expect perfection. I do expect an ounce of effort. This attack might be wrong. I don't know. Everything supposedly breaks Eternal formats. You have 8 Force of Wills to mulligan to in Legacy now, so it's probably fine. Also, being on the draw is a huge disadvantage in Eternal formats as is, so like... Maybe it's okay if it was fine. I think I'm taking this hit, and then we're gonna end step bounce the Elite Spellbinder. Svyelun! I just like bounce that. I think so. Just get a 3/3. Feels like we're just dead here, huh? Yeah, rough. Yeah, I don't know. We were on the... Oh, we were on the draw this game, right? Yeah, because we won game 2 on the play. We lost games 1 and 3 on the draw. I was about to say we were on the play and this was still hard, but that's not true actually. We were on the draw and it was hard. You can't change the Mimic into a land. So it's not a changeling, it's a shapeshifter. The Shoreline Scout only turns Merfolk or lands into lands. This deck is fine. I think your creature matchups are pretty low player agency. They largely just come down to, did you win the die roll? You're going to get a little bit lucky sometimes to win when you're on the draw, but I think more often than not, being on the play is the only thing that really matters there. I do think this deck has okay amounts of counterplay against things like creativity. We've got Miscallers and Miscasts, which is nice, but, you know, you gotta kind of take what you can get. If you like the fish, it seems like it's playable in this format.